Right now, News 8 at 10, cracking down on violence, the new approach by Davenport Police, and the bigger issue that police say needs to be addressed.
If we can make it through that, we can make it through anything.
A rough year, how ski snow stars trying to rebound after some ups and downs this winter.
And the snow is falling just outside our studios, and there's a lot more falling as well. And we'll show you that on our storm tracker with the help of your accurate forecast.
Live from WQAD, News 8 at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jim Mertens.
And I'm Denise Hanitka. Thank you for joining us tonight. Davenport is getting an early start to the year when it comes to gun violence, with more than 24 reports of shots fired in just the past 2 months.
A serious case just this week when a 17-year-old girl was shot and critically hurt Monday night. Davenport's police chief says that the department is continuing its efforts to crack down and that they're even taking a new approach. In your top story, News 8's Jenna Morton joins us in the studio to explain what's being done to curb this violence. Jenna?
Jim, last year there were more than 100 shots fired calls, and so far in 2016 the city has seen 33. But the chief says there's a bigger issue that needs to be addressed.
This is a fragile situation.
Elder Daniel Teague started a grassroots effort 6 months ago called Boots on the Ground.
Not as a community, but as a nation.
Wanting to address the violence in Davenport.
We wanted to take a different approach to the violence. We're going to go to the people in the community and find out what's actually going on.
But the problem seems to be only getting worse. Already this year, Davenport has seen 33 shots fired incidents.
Meeting with people.
Going door to door and talking to people.
In the neighborhood.
Teague found people have 3 big issues. Ones that he says can be traced back to crime. The relationship between police and the community, and the lack of education and jobs. Boots on the Ground has had several meetings to try to address them.
I believe we know who's doing what and what's going on, but we need to step up and be the adults and parents and start taking control of the situation.
Link crimes together.
Davenport Police Chief Paul Sikorsky says more officers are patrolling and detectives are actively working cases. He says the real solution comes by thinking long term.
We're working with them to try to identify what do we do with them. If we think they're going to get involved in the activity again, what's the recourse? What can we do to try to get them on the right path?
Knocking on doors in certain neighborhoods.
Teague says it's going to take a community to see any results.
We have to take control of this situation here. We have to, and everybody has to be involved.
This year, Boots on the Ground is really going to focus on building the trust between law enforcement and the community. They're also expanding their group to the Illinois side. Public meetings are held every 4th Monday of every month at the United Neighbors in Davenport. Jim?
All right, thanks. In Monday night shooting, police say a 15-year-old from Rock Island has been charged. Davenport Police Chief says they expect to see more crime once the weather gets warmer. And while some of the shots fired calls are actually targeted towards a specific person, police say they see a lot of the shots simply fired in the air being used for intimidation. Well, we're tracking some snow moving through the area right now.
And it could impact your morning commute. James Zahara watching that for us in the Weather Center. Hi, James.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it could get a little dicey out there as we head into early tomorrow morning, but keep in mind the snowfall is coming in just a little bit later only because of the fact that it's been taking a little bit longer to kind of saturate that air down to the ground. Now, you can see on a satellite radar loop, it looks like everyone is experiencing some of this snow, but it's really around eastern Iowa and kind of nosing his way across the river that we actually are seeing this snow reach the ground. So that could have a slight little a change as far as snowfall totals as we head into early tomorrow morning. We still have that winter weather advisory out for areas around the immediate Quad Cities and points eastward, mainly north of Highway 34, north of Burlington, Galesburg, Peoria, and south of Galena and Rockford on Highway 20. That's the area where we could be seeing at least a good solid 1 to 2 inches of snow. Some isolated areas, 3, maybe 4 inches. I think are going to be well off to the east as we head into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures have been hovering right around freezing. The only exception just in southeastern Iowa, where we are going to expect to see more of a light rain snow mix than anything else. Currently in the Quad Cities, 32 degrees we have, with that east wind around 7 miles an hour. With that slight snow-covered ground by tomorrow morning, it will have a slight impact as far as our weather for the rest of the work week. I'll tell you what type of impact that's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. Jim?
All right, thank you, James. Well, one business that needs snow to operate is Snowstar in Andalusia, and this mild winter has offered nothing but challenges. It wasn't just a lack of snow that made this year frustrating either. News 8's Jared Ransom now joins us live from Andalusia with more on that story.
Yeah, Jim, the snowflakes are coming down ever so gently, but for Snowstar, they needed more of this snow and more often. Now, between the lack of snow and a kitchen fire, it's easy to see how the business has had a pretty difficult year, but they've taken their lumps and they're ready to start new. Freshly made snow sits on the ground at Snowstar, ready to welcome visitors in their last open weekend of the season. For General Manager Dan McKenna, it's the end of a year they'd rather soon forget.
This is probably one of our, I hate to use the word worst seasons, but we've had more adversity this year than ever.
The mild winter pushed their opening day into January, more than a month later than planned, a 100-day season cut to around 60. McKenna says they've spent more time making snow than ever before.
Well, I'll put it this way, if we hadn't made artificial snow, we'd have never opened this year. Every bit of snow, excluding what we had, 5-6 inches maybe the entire winter of Mother Nature snow, everything else is artificial snow.
Mother Nature wasn't their only obstacle. 2 days after opening for the year, a fire that started in an ice machine took out their kitchen and lounge.
We did what we could.
A kitchen downstairs just opened up last week.
I jokingly have been saying things couldn't have been any worse. They could have been. Number one, nobody was hurt. Buildings can be repaired, replaced.
McKenna says there have been some discussions about opening up Snowstar for summer activities like concerts or weddings. But with some concerns about the conditions of area roads, those talks came to a halt.
As of right now, we don't have any summer use zoning permits, so it's something that they'll revisit, but we just have to deal with what we have right now.
It's the end of a very trying and emotional year for everyone at Snowstar, but this weekend offers one more chance to go into the off-season for high hopes for the next year.
If we can make it through that, we can make it through anything.
Now, each year, Snowstar averages about 50,000 visitors each year, and McKenna says he's trying to avoid looking at what those numbers will be for this year. But they're already looking forward to the next season when they have a full working kitchen and, hopefully, more snow. Reporting live in Andalusia, Jared Ransom, WQAD News 8.
All right, thank you, Jared. Snowstar will make more snow tomorrow night so they can be ready for opening on Friday. The season will end on a fun note once again with a traditional Slush Pit Sunday. It's coming up Sunday at 2 in the afternoon.
The Geneseo Police Department is warning people about a phone scam. Police say the caller shows up on your caller ID as the police department. It's using spoofing technology, fooling victims about where that call is coming from. But regardless, the caller will claim you owe money or you are going to be arrested. But police say that no government agency will ever contact you like this and ask for a payment on the phone. An
East Moline man who police say was duped by a woman faking cancer is speaking out to News 8 tonight, saying he believed he was helping to save her life. Felicia Howard was arrested last week. She's charged with theft by deception after police say she conned $100,000 from a 78-year-old man who does not want to be identified. He says Howard came to his church asking for help with her bills during a divorce. The man then says Howard told him that she had cancer and needed treatments.
You know, I was trying to help. She was a great actress, you know.
She could win an Academy Award.
She could do that.
Police say Howard claimed to be getting help from Gilda's Club, but News 8 reached out to Gilda's Club, and that organization says it has never heard of Howard.
Illinois lawmakers tried and failed to override the governor's veto and fund state aid for college students. Last month, the governor vetoed the funding bill for MAP grants, claiming it would have increased the state's budget deficit. Today, the Senate voted to override that veto, and it was passed on to the House, where it failed by just 2 votes. After a heated debate today, a bill to provide more oversight into Iowa's new Medicaid program passed in the Senate. The bill's designed to help provide improvements and more accountability for the state's move to a private system. Supporters say it helps fill the gaps and will safeguard more than 500,000 Iowans who use Medicaid.
In Your Voice, Your Vote coverage, Republican turnout for voters was at an all-time high in some Super Tuesday states. More than 8 million Republican voters have participated, while the Democratic turnout was about 5.5 million so far in the primary season. Last night, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton scored big wins, winning 7 states each. Both candidates are leading with the most delegates for their respective parties' nomination. Mrs. Clinton has just over 1,000 delegates. Mr. Trump has 319. He's followed by Ted Cruz with 226 delegates. Ben Carson scheduled to make an announcement tomorrow in Washington, or I should say Friday in Washington. In an email today, he told supporters he sees no political path forward and will not be participating in tomorrow night's Republican debate in his hometown of Detroit. The decision comes after key members of Carson's campaign staff held a meeting this morning after Super Tuesday results were analyzed. Still ahead on News 8 at 10, pulling together.
The special tribute from the Davenport North girls basketball team after the school's athletic director lost his son in a tragic accident.
You're watching WQAD News 8 at 10 with Jim Mertens and Dundee Sinitka.